Hello, and in today's video we are doing an FPL review for Game Week 14 and a mini preview for Game Week 15. That's right, it's two things rolled into one for your Fab Footy feast of FPL, and this is Game Week 15, so don't forget the FPL Cup is coming up, and those that are qualifying, I think it's the top 8 million players, will be selected for the FPL Cup, which is basically the same as FPL, but you get drawn in almost like an FA Cup, right? System of you get a tie, do you win it? If you do, you go to the next round, blah, blah, blah. And it's based on how you finish in that Game Week 15 rank. So it's all based on that game week. It's not about your overall transfers and overall history and overall points. So that is really interesting. And also, coming up soon will be the start of, the England FPL Cup. So you've not just got your overall FPL Cup, you've got your national, what am I on about? FPL Cups, and also whichever club you support, if you do, then you've got that League Cup as well. So that'll be interesting. But do check your mini leagues, because there's a section on there with FPL Cup, and it will tell you when the cups are starting. Obviously, for every league it's different, but it's around about Game Week 26 till about Game Week 32. But it could be even earlier. Like, it just is depending on your league. It's just a bit random, really. So that'll be really fun. And I've got to think about that. To be fair, I don't want to necessarily take a -4 this week. Although saying that, I don't really care about the cup. It's not that relevant. It's a bit like the Carabao Cup. It's not the be all and end all of FPL. But the point is, just telling you to give you a heads up, in case that affected your decision making. And obviously, after Game Week 15. That's when we'll really know, because obviously the first round of games happen in Game Week 16, and you can make your transfers according to who you've been drawn against, because you can see if they're like a dead team, they're not active maybe anymore, and they've captained the most random people. That way you know that they're probably going to be just not worth the hassle to try and beat. But anyway, the point is, we are doing a preview and a review of last week, so let's quickly review last week, and then we'll go into some stats mainly on Watford. In terms of our striking options ahead of Man City. I know, bit of a weird time to do it, but I think it has to be done. And also my team selection video for Game Week 15. So let's have a little look of Game Week 14 then, shall we? How many points? There you can see 63. So, all in all, not happy at all, right? We thought it was going to be a good game week. We made the transfers of St. Maximan and Gallagher. Oh, no, hang on. We already had Gallagher. We just didn't get his points against Villa, sorry, I apologise, I do forget that. No, what we did do was St. Maximan and Jota, right? So, on the one hand, loving Jota, absolute legend, what a goal against Everton. On the other, St. Maximan, you absolute plonker, right? Because it was only a short-term move. I knew I wanted St. Maximan for those short-term fixtures, and then I'd probably hop off him. And hop off him because there's better fixtures for better strikers, right? And what did he do? In the best fixture possible, he does nothing. Right, so I knew that it was a small game week punt, but it's like, even then, the bad fixtures doesn't really matter from one week to the next, because they're just as successful as the good fixtures, right? So it's not great, but you got to think of it as, I brought in St. Max for Antonio, and Antonio actually got less than St. Max because he got booked and he did nothing, even though it looked like he was going to score and he had the ball in the net, but it was supposed to be an assist, but it was obviously offside in the end, or he handballed it or something. So I was loving that when I saw St. Max, obviously, well, no, not when I saw St. Max, but when I saw Antonio get booked and, him blank again, he's in bad form. You got to think about that. Obviously, fair enough, the good fixtures in Game Week 18 and Game Week 16, but we can do that when we want, right? We can save up some transfers if we need to, but we'll think about that. So ultimately, right, there's options here. There's options to bring him back, but it's a good fixture against Burnley this week. So hopefully St. Max won't be an awful one again, because look, we're not going to probably keep him after Game Week 15. So look, let's think about it. But that was what we went for. We also, as part of those moves, did sell Rafinha, right? And I know what you're going to say, you silly person. You can't sell Rafinha, all right? That is fair enough. Like, I do agree, if you didn't have any issues to put out this week, then you kept Rafinha because he's got two good fixtures, including last game week. But I had the fire in my team of not having Jota. And I know you might say that's not a fire, you just go with Rafinha. But Jota was such a no-brainer. Ahead of AFCON, Salah and Mane is going to go. I need Jota before he starts getting way too owned. And he was rising in price. I just had to get him, right? It just had to be done. You've got to make those kind of moves when you think there's a player that's worth it. and is a very appealing player. And actually, I was not that happy about it because I thought I might have to sell Bernardo Silva. But what do? We find a way to negotiate the budget and get Bernardo and Jota in the same team, which is pretty sick, and have Harry Kane, ahead of game week number 15. You think he's gonna just explode, and not in a good way because he's been awful. But the head of game week 14 against Brentford, you kind of thought, yeah, the returns will come. We'll be patient with him, but he's just frustrating me so much. But it's still, a good FPL asset from seasons gone by. So you'd have backed him, and that was a strong squad going into game week 14. So yeah, we'll count ourselves unlucky, really. Just looking at my overall total points history as well, I'm just showing this now. I didn't think I did a proper review game week 13, so I'll just quickly show you my team. But basically, we've had a bit of a rank drop the last couple of game weeks, and it's not ideal because we built a bit of momentum after game week 12. So, look, game week 13 was a bit of a stinker, right? 47 points, we don't like to see it. The overall rank did drop by quite a considerable amount, but, not too bad. Still inside 600k. And you kind of thought, okay, it's not too much of an issue, because I think we were only like a few points away from 400k at that point. And now I think we're only about 20 points away from 500k, and we're ranked at 628. So it's a bit crazy, really. But game week 13, yeah, we didn't actually think it was going to be a bad game. We made the moves of Gallagher, and he did nothing. And also we brought in the absolute legend that is Joshua King. And although, right, Tony did outscore him, I don't really care because King is good long term, and I don't think Tony's going to keep it up. So defensively, not great, but Trent does what he does. Salah, 6 points, will take it though. And ultimately, it was not a great game week, right? The game week ranked just over the average with the overall points for this game week. So yeah, we had a lot to prove, and we didn't really do it this week. I know 63 points is not bad, but we would have liked better. So yeah, obviously 797 points after game week 13, 536,540 overall points. And now we are looking at a overall rank of 628,831, which is actually a bit annoying because I had it down as a bit better than that. It was 628,860, but now it is. Oh, sorry, it's even better than that. So I've actually gone up by, more than 20k, or more than 20 places in my head. So yeah, I was a bit pessimistic, but I think live FPL, that's what it said. It's just now it's updated. So yeah, it's not a bad rank. It's not the nightmare, but it's just considering where I was at, game week 6, game week 7, a very nice. Well, actually, no, that's the wrong statement. What I meant to say was game week 4, game week 5. That was where it was quite good because I was, a decent rank of about inside the 400k mark. And we started the season so well. That was the frustrating thing, right? We were consistent, but then we got the red arrow game week 5. Then we got another red arrow, green arrow game week 5. Another red arrow. Then 2 green arrows. You thought, yeah, we're on our way to 300k, and then we've dropped back down. We've now leveled out a little bit, and we've dropped again. So, yeah, 63 points. Obviously, 7 points on the bench is not what you like to see. Obviously, it's a shame with what Douglas Luiz did, but you were never going to play him this week. He's the bench fodder, so it had to be done. So, ultimately, right, the -4 hit. Did it work this week? I think it did. I know that technically we didn't really get an outcome that would work because we missed out on 3 points when selling Rafinha, and Gallagher getting a yellow card and playing in CDM. It's just like, what's the point? But at the end of the day, I still think Gallagher's the better pick long term. Rafinha's fixtures are pretty poor, and Gallagher will be one of those ones. You've got to be patient, I think, with him. He's really, really good. Bernardo Silva, we'll get to him. But ultimately, right, I'm not happy with this game week because it's a red arrow. But on paper, 63 points is still not too bad. It's just only 1 point ahead of the average with the -4 in consideration. We need to be getting much better scores in future weeks. So game week rank of 3,753,737 and 59 points after the 63 -4. So let's start off with Ramsdale. This guy is still a legend in my book because 7 saves is pretty solid, right? I know that Arsenal, they are a team that flattered to deceive sometimes, but defensively they've still been very good. And Ronaldo you're not going to play him every week, so that was a very difficult one for him. But still very good with his bonus points most weeks. Obviously, was robbed of the bonus points in the last game against Newcastle. I don't know how he didn't get it there, but look, still 3 points. Considering he's conceded 3 goals, that's not too shabby. And he's so much just a set and forget right now. Fixtures, yeah, bit up and down, but we don't really care. Just keep him through these. I think Southampton and Leeds should hopefully be some points. Yeah, pretty happy with him. Even though it was a tough fixture, we backed that this week. Obviously, Chip Foster was injured for me, so I kind of knew I was going to play Ramsdale. And I thought about the move like before the Man United game to get better fixture, but you just can't overthink goalkeepers at this point. Now, defence. You can overthink defence, right? Because obviously everyone's moving to their bigger back five, because that's what the points are coming from this week. But the last couple of weeks, it's been ironic because the defence has not really helped us, right? Trent, fair enough, he did the bits. Previous week to that, we did absolutely unbelievable bits in defence, right? We were loving that. And we even had Rudiger, right? If he'd have played for Livramento, then we'd have been loving life. But we still got a green arrow that week. It doesn't really matter that we benched him. The point is, Rudiger didn't do it this week, and it's disappointing. Also, the clean sheets are getting wiped out, and we saw it for Man City against West Ham, Lanzini's goal, and we've seen it again against a team in Villa that you'd expect City to keep a clean sheet, but it's just one of those annoying near-post goals from a corner. What can you do? But Cancelo, he is still such a good option. Like he's had so many shots, he's got so much threat, and he's been nailed. I'm probably going to curse him now, but I just don't feel like he's going to drop him. So, yeah, Rudiger, we'll start with him. Look, it was a decent fixture on an FPL perspective. I obviously don't like to back against my team, but we haven't been scoring loads of goals other than Man United. I just thought Chelsea were too strong defensively, but just shows how good Watford are, eh? The first goal that's been actually scored against Chelsea from open play in an away Chelsea match. So that just shows Watford, they're just lethal. But anyway, Rudiger didn't have much attacking threat in this match, but he's shown it in previous games against Man United. So, yeah, not too shabby, I suppose, but would have expected something there. Cancelo, I just think the game against Villa was it was a bit unexpected because Villa were really good in the second half and City were under the cosh a bit. Ederson made a really good save. So, yeah, it is what it is, but we move on from another 2-pointer. Livramento, this is the one, man, that's really frustrating because, alright, not the best of fixtures, and I didn't actually start with him. I started with his Chelsea counterpart, Rudiger and Reece James, but we knew that he was probably your man to come off the bench, right? Because Livramento's attacking threat is so good. Even though it's Leicester, we probably thought maybe Vardy benching. People were rumouring it, and he is getting on a bit, Vardy. Leicester haven't been in amazing form other than the Watford game, so I thought there might be a chance of points. And what happens? He does nothing, and he concedes 2. So, a bit frustrating, because whenever I put my faith in Livramento, or at least my faith in him being on the first sub on the bench, or I start him, he gets 1-pointers. Like, looking at his history, right, fair enough, I didn't own him till Gameweek 3, but I didn't really need to either, right? So I benched him v Newcastle. What does he do? He does the exact same thing as this week. Comes on for a 1 point. Not great. Because Southampton are just so up and down with clean sheets. They get 2 v West Ham City. They can't do it v Newcastle. They get battered by Liverpool. They get defeated by Norwich. Then they keep 2 clean sheets on the bounce in Game Week 10 and 11. It's like, come on, you can't predict it. But what we do like with Livramento is he gets forward. And I think he deserves more attacking contributions. But he is the Lord Lundstrom of this season. He is the Stuart Dallas, the Duke Dallas of this season. So just keep the faith with him, right? You're not going to change him because he's such great value still. And he's probably going to be on your bench most weeks. But when he's got good fixtures, he's worth it. And I thought that was a good fixture, considering maybe Vardy was not going to play. And I thought also my other players on the bench had worse fixtures. But turns out that Livramento actually scored less than anyone on my bench. So that's a bit annoying. Obviously, I wasn't going to play 2 goalkeepers because Foster got less than Livramento. But yeah, keep the faith with him. I think he's still a legend. Now, Trent. Now, this is a bit of a more surprise because Liverpool defensively have been so good recently. And they keep switching up Matip and Konate. Maybe that's where the problems lie. But look, Trent does go forward. He doesn't have much defensive solidity, but he's got those attacking return potentials. And obviously, he's on set pieces. And it's a bit annoying when they see that goal from Demarai Gray in the first half. But yeah, it is what it is. He had that good shot that was saved by Pickford. It's still one that you keep all season, basically. He's just so good. Now, let's move on from the defensive clean sheet worries. Let's get to some higher and more impressive points in my team. And that starts with the midfield, because we have absolutely bossed it. Other than Conor Gallagher, who, can I just say, it's disgusting that Leeds would aim his homophobic abuse at him in that game. Like, I didn't even know that Gallagher was, was of that sort. If he is, then, all to him, right? It's all everyone's choice. There's no room for racism. There's no room for any form of discrimination, including homophobia. And Gallagher, right? He's a great man. He's a great, talent, a great youth coming through. And if that's the kind of thing we're promoting, then, there's very little hope in humanity. So, yeah, very, very disappointing to see that from Crystal Palace. Or, sorry, from... not Crystal Palace, of course, no, sorry, Leeds. Some comments about Gallagher. So, yeah, it's obviously small individuals that are letting Leeds down, but it's not good to see. Gallagher, though, in terms of an FPL option, it's disappointing, right? Because he was in such good form the week that I sell him v Man City, and then he becomes a great option for about a burst of 3 game weeks. And then I bring him in for Villa. I think fair enough, he's in such good form after another assist against Burnley. And then since then, he's played more central in the defence, protecting the back four, basically, CDM, against Villa and against Leeds. Both 2 good fixtures, and what does he do? He plays more defensive. So, it's awful, right? But we're going to talk about Gallagher at the end, because let's start with the positives. Midfield, boom. Love that. Mo Salah, you legend, you little dancer. What a player. He always scores with Everton. He's always basically scoring with anyone. And captaincy was a no-brainer this week. And it might even be this week as well, because you just can't back against him. He's just so good. So, love that 15-pointer from Mo. 30 points with captaincy. Look, it's another 2 goals for him. Another 3 bonuses. Just so, so good. And I tell you, we are going to miss him after game week 20. I think it's game week 20 or game week 19. Whenever it is, they go off after Boxing Day. How are we going to not keep him in our teams? We're going to have to bench him. But I can't deal with that amount of money on the bench. I just don't know how we're going to survive, but he's just so reliable. And 2 really, really good goals. Jota is just so nice, because right now, okay, I might have been a little bit late on the Jota train, but he's just one that's going to play every week. He's in form. Like, look at the form since game week 9. Unbelievable. I know there's 2 blanks in there, but, Brighton, West Ham, they're both teams that have done fairly well this season. But then, last 3, I mean, he's looking at a point where he's starting to get essential. Look at the fixtures. So good for so long, other than Chelsea. Like, it's just one to own, basically. And it took his goal brilliantly. Obviously, a Portuguese bias. I did bring him in last season, and he really frustrated me. I think it was over game week 31 or something. I think he had Arsenal the week that I was thinking about bringing him in, and he scored with Arsenal. I was fuming. And then he had a few good games, and then I brought him in, did nothing, and then he got injured, and it was the most frustrating thing ever. And I, hadn't really forgiven him since then. And then obviously the Euros came around. He was brilliant for us, for Portugal, and I thought about it, to be fair, at the start of the season, but then I thought, nah, you got to go with Tsimikas. And yeah, fair enough. He's back in form, and he's one to own, I think. Gallagher, we're going to touch on at the end, but at Bernardo Silva, that is a great shout from me. I'm so happy with him. He has been so good for me. So I was ahead of the curve, basically. All right, fair enough if you brought him in for Burnley, but I'm not sure many people would have. Seeing as looking at that kind of run of games, Foden was in such more demand, and there was better assets at that point. But we did think about it, right, for Brighton. I'll be honest, like, after the 11-pointer, we thought, yeah, let's think about it, but we didn't do it, right? And we were regretting it. But then we brought him in for Palace. Not a great return, 1-pointer. You don't like to see that. But since then, he's been beautiful. And obviously, benching him v United, not ideal, because we had good fixtures for other players. But since then, a goal against Everton and another goal v Villa. He's just in such good form. And obviously, West Ham, 2-pointer. But you take the rough with the smooth with Bernardo Silva. He's just such a great differential and so many points. What a goal. 10-pointer. You love to see it. And then St. Maximan, 2-pointer. Kane, 2-pointer. Not good at all. The forward line needs addressing. But look, in hindsight, right, we benched James. We played Douglas Luiz. But like, that was never going to happen. King does score less most weeks than Livramento, but not this week. He didn't do anything. And I'm glad I didn't actually have Dennis there, because it would have been if I'd have gone for Dennis game week 13, I should say. But yeah, Dennis obviously did do the bits, and I'm happy that I didn't regret benching King, basically. But Douglas Luiz, like, he takes corners. You're going to get the odd assist. If a player doesn't play for me, then Douglas Luiz comes in. But most of the weeks, I won't need him to come in. So the auto sub, as I see there, Livramento for James, got me an additional 1 point, but not really ideal. So let me show you the team for game week number 15. We will quickly tell you about Josh King versus Dennis and why he's a better asset. Since game week 9, Josh King at 5.7 million is top among all players in the league for XG, level on big chances with Salah in that time. So it just tells you King's played every single minute he's been available under Ranieri, and he's had at least one big chance in 4 of the previous 6 matches. He's scored from the penalty spot recently, so there's a good chance he will keep that. And he's also more nailed than Dennis, with the long run as the Africa Cup of Nations could mean Dennis is not playing. And Dennis's numbers have been impressive. He's been unbelievable, Dennis. But King's are still on par, if not better. And King is averaging 1.5 big chances per 90 under Ranieri, whereas Dennis is 0.25 since game week 9. Dennis has had 9 goals and assists combined, with an expected goal involvement of 3.9. So he's actually overperforming right now, but I still think Dennis will keep performing. It's just that King might keep performing for even longer. I think they're more sustainable. I think King is the better option. I know that the last few weeks Dennis has scored more than that, and I've kind of regretted it for those game weeks, but nah, it's fine. We're going to bench him anyway against Man City. So this is the lineup. It's as simple as that. We're not going to talk too much into it because most of the game week has been reviewing. But Ramsdale against Everton, hopefully, does again the points. Wolves, I think it's a good fixture. I think Trent can get a clean sheet there. Cancelo, I'm worried because I think we're going to give him too much space. He's so good at crossing. James is back fit, which is what you love to see. Didn't play last week, but Livramento is always there when needed. And Gallagher's going to be the man this week if we have any rotation. And then Rudiger, so good against West Ham. Hopefully some more attacking returns. Captaincy's on Salah. You can see it all here. Jota vice captain. I'm just going to go with the same team, roll the transfer, and then look, it's a good team on paper, right? Burnley fixture, Watford fixture for Bernardo, Norwich for Kane. I'm not captaining because he's just such bad form, but he's got to score, hopefully, and then he'll probably be out of my team. So, yeah, we're locked in for game week number 15. Hope you have enjoyed my review and mainly a little bit small preview. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.